of the National Weather Service. NOAA Weather Radio Station wwg34, broadcasting to the eastern valley on 100 and 62.55 megahertz from Brownsville, and to the western valley on 100 and 62.40 megahertz from Far.
The Coastal Waters Forecast. Synopsis. A front is approaching deep South Texas and will move across the coastal waters on Tuesday morning. Winds following the front will increase to around 15 knots out of the northwest on Tuesday afternoon, but then quickly die down and shift to the east by Wednesday morning as a high pressure ridge builds in behind the front. However, a small craft advisory will likely be posted for tomorrow afternoon as seas increase to around 7 feet for a few hours. The forecast for the Laguna Monterrey. Tonight, southeast winds 5 to 10 knots becoming southwest after midnight. A light chop on the bay. Patchy fog after midnight. Tuesday, north winds 5 to 10 knots becoming east late in the afternoon. Waters becoming choppy by afternoon. Tuesday night, east winds 5 to 10 knots in the evening becoming light and variable, then becoming southeast 5 knots early in the morning. A light chop on the bay. Wednesday, southeast winds 5 to 15 knots increasing to 15 to 20 knots late in the afternoon. Choppy bay waters. Wednesday night, south winds 15 to 20 knots. Choppy bay waters. Thursday, south winds 15 knots. Choppy bay waters. Friday, south winds 20 knots. Choppy bay waters. Saturday, south winds 20 knots. Choppy bay waters. The forecast for the coastal waters, Baffin Bay to the Rio Grande offshore to 20 nautical miles. Tonight, southeast winds 10 knots becoming southwest after midnight. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Tuesday, north winds 5 to 15 knots becoming northeast 5 to 10 knots late in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5 feet increasing to 5 to 7 feet by afternoon. Tuesday night, southeast winds 10 knots. Seas decreasing to 1 to 3 feet. Wednesday, southeast winds 5 to 15 knots increasing to 15 to 20 knots late in the afternoon. Seas 1 to 3 feet building to 2 to 4 feet in the afternoon. Wednesday night, south winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Thursday, south winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Friday, south winds 20 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Saturday, south winds 20 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. The forecast for the coastal waters from Baffin Bay to the Rio Grande offshore from 20 to 60 nautical miles. Tonight, south winds 10 knots becoming southwest late in the night. Seas 4 to 6 feet. Tuesday, northwest winds 15 knots becoming northeast late in the afternoon. Seas 4 to 6 feet increasing to 6 to 8 feet by afternoon. Tuesday night, east winds 5 to 10 knots. Seas decreasing to 2 to 4 feet. Wednesday, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Wednesday night, southeast winds 20 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Thursday, south winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Friday, south winds 20 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Saturday, south winds 15 to 25 knots. Seas 4 to 6 feet. For the following counties: Brooks, Coastal Cameron, Coastal Willacy, Hidalgo, Inland Cameron, Inland Willacy, Jim Hogg, Kennedy, Star, and Zapata. This hazardous weather outlook is for deep South Texas. Day 1, today and tonight. No hazardous weather is expected. Days 2 through 7, Tuesday through Sunday. Driving conditions may worsen early Tuesday as areas of fog develop. Spotter information statement. Spotter activation is not expected. Weather conditions across the valley at 9 p.m. At Bayview, there, temperature 69. Southeast wind at 7. At Brownsville, under clear skies. The temperature 67 degrees, dew point 65, relative humidity 93%. Southeast wind at 6 miles an hour, pressure 29.68 and rising. At Harlingen, under clear skies. The temperature 70, dew point 65, relative humidity 84%. Southeast wind at 9, pressure 29.67 and rising. At McAllen, under clear skies. The temperature 74, dew point 65, relative humidity 73%. Southeast wind at 10, pressure 29.66 inches and rising. At the buoy 35 miles northeast of Port Mansfield, east wind at 6, significant waves 5 feet, with a period of 8 seconds. Water temperature 69 degrees, air temperature 70 degrees. Listen for statewide weather at 13:33 and 53 after the hour. Lower Texas Coast Tide and Recreation data. Predicted tides for the South a.m., a high at 3:21 p.m., a low at 8:12 p.m., a high at 11:17 p.m. Water temperatures in the Bay near Port Isabel, 69 degrees. In the surf itself, Padre Island, 70 degrees. Sunset at 6:42. Sunrise Tuesday at 6:31. The forecast for coastal Cameron and coastal Willacy counties, including South Padre Island, Port Isabel, and Port Mansfield. For tonight, partly cloudy in the evening then clearing. Patchy fog after midnight. Lows in the lower 60s. South winds around 10 miles an hour. For Tuesday, increasing clouds. Highs in the lower 80s. West winds around 10 miles an hour, shifting to the northeast in the afternoon. For Tuesday night, mostly clear. Lows in the lower 60s. East winds around 10 miles an hour in the evening, becoming light and variable. For Wednesday, sunny. Highs in the lower 80s. Southeast winds around 10 miles an hour, increasing to 15 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. For Wednesday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. Southeast winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. For Thursday, partly cloudy. Highs in the upper 70s. South winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. And for Thursday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds around 15 miles an hour. The forecast for inland Cameron and inland Willacy counties, including the cities of Brownsville, Harlingen, and Raymondville. For tonight, partly cloudy in the evening then clearing. Patchy fog after midnight. Lows in the lower 60s. South winds around 10 miles an hour in the evening, becoming light and variable. For Tuesday, increasing clouds. Highs in the upper 80s. Northwest winds around 10 miles an hour, shifting to the north in the afternoon. For Tuesday night, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 50s. East winds around 10 miles an hour in the evening, becoming light and variable. For Wednesday, sunny. Highs in the mid-80s. South winds around 10 miles an hour, shifting to the southeast in the afternoon. For Wednesday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. Southeast winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. For Thursday, partly cloudy. Highs in the upper 70s. South winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Chance of rain 10%. And for Thursday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Now for conditions outside of the Rio Grande Valley. Alfarias, fair. Temperature 68. East wind at 5. Corpus Christi, clear. Temperature 68. Southeast wind at 7. Houston, cloudy. Temperature 67. Southeast wind at 9. San Antonio, clear. Temperature 70. Home, Laredo, clear. Temperature 73. Northeast wind at 6. Del Rio, clear. Temperature 73. Northwest wind at 16. Gust into 24. Over north and west Texas. Tyler, mostly cloudy. Temperature 64. Southeast wind at 10. Dallas Fort Worth, partly cloudy. Temperature 69. Southwest wind at 9. Amarillo, mostly cloudy. Temperature 46. Northwest wind at 18. Marfa, clear. Temperature 54. West wind at 21. Gust into 31. In neighboring Mexico, Monterrey, clear. Temperature 75. Southeast wind at 8. Tampico, with haze and smoke. Temperature 73. Southeast wind at 7. The forecast for Hidalgo County, including the cities of McAllen, Weslaco, and Edinburgh. For tonight, mostly clear. Patchy fog after midnight. Lows in the lower 60s. Northwest winds around 10 miles an hour in the evening, becoming light and variable. For Tuesday, increasing clouds. Highs in the upper 80s. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. For Tuesday night, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 50s. Northeast winds around 10 miles an hour in the evening, becoming light and variable. For Wednesday, sunny. Highs in the upper 80s. Southeast winds around 10 miles an hour, increasing to 15 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. For Wednesday night, partly cloudy. Breezy. Lows around 60. South winds 15 to 25 miles an hour. For Thursday, partly cloudy. Highs in the mid-80s. South winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Chance of rain 10%. And for Thursday night, increasing clouds. Lows in the upper 60s. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour.